Okie doke, let's learn Greek together. The first thing we'll talk about in this video is the Greek alphabet. The Greek alphabet has 24 letters. Trying to keep my hands as steady as I can for you. The left-hand column is the lowercase letters, and the right-hand column, or the second column, are the capitalized version of those letters. So starting from the very top, we have alpha, which makes this ah sound, beta, b, gamma, g, or if it is attached to another gamma, it's ng. We got delta, d, epsilon, e, zeta, z, eta, a, theta, th, iota, e, kappa, k, lambda, l, mu, m, nu, n, xi, which makes that x sound, omicron, ah, p, p, rho, r, sigma, s, tau, t, upsilon, u, like German u, phi, f, chi, k, psi, ps, and omega, o. You may need to go back and watch that again. Next, just a few notes on pronunciation. Gamma usually sounds like the English g, but before another gamma, or before a kappa, or a chi, or a xi, it has a nasal sound of a ng, like thing or thank. When you have zeta at the beginning of the word, it does have that z sound, but when it's in the middle of a word, then it has like a z sound, like a D and a Z put together. Z. Iota can be pronounced either long or short. Some people make the distinguish between a short iota, like pit, or a long iota, like police. When we transliterate rho into English, you'll see it as the letter R. That is when it's in the middle of a word. If it is the beginning of a word, then it's actually aspirated, which is why it's pronounced r, and it'll be transliterated RH. Notice there with sigma, which is the fifth one down, there are two variations of the lowercase sigma. At the end of the word, it's that second one. It's called a final sigma, and it looks like a C with a little tail at the end there. Everywhere else, besides it being at the end of the word, then we're going to use that first form of sigma, the regular form. For example, apostolos. We have the sigma here, we have the sigma here. Both of them make the same sound, but because this sigma here is at the end, then it has that ending form, aka a final sigma. The pronunciations for upsilon and chi are, strictly speaking, not used in the English language. Upsilon is like this which can be approximated like rude, and chi, which could be approximated with a hard K. Even though Biblical Greek isn't spoken of as a language anymore, there is a lot of value in reading it aloud. If we practice to carefully pronounce or pronunciate, then it's going to help us to, is pronunciate a word? Well, it's going to help us to be able to remember vocabulary more quickly, as you can remember these words both by sight and by sound. Also, meanings of words can change with just a change of a single letter, and so it is very important to have a very precise pronunciation. Next, let's talk about vowels, diphthongs, and breathing marks. The 7 Greek vowels are alpha, epsilon, eta, iota, omicron, upsilon, and omega. Epsilon and omicron are always short. Their counterparts, eta and omega, are always long. We should always carefully observe the differences between the pronunciations of epsilon and eta, and omicron and omega. The other vowels, alpha, alpha, iota, and upsilon, can be either short or long. Nothing in the way that they're written distinguishes whether they should be pronounced short or long. It really just depends on the length of the word. It's a difference of quantity, not quality. A diphthong is a combination of two vowel sounds in one syllable. The second letter of a Greek diphthong is always going to be an iota or an upsilon. The common diphthongs and their pronunciations are I as in aisle, A as in neighbor, Oi as in oil. As you can see there, I tried to dot my iota like a fool and then tried to erase it. Greek professors all over the place are feeling a disturbance in the force. We got we, like queen, u, like food, eu, which is like a combination of e and met, and u and rude, eu. And we have eu, like obey and rude, eu. Every word that begins with either a vowel or a diphthong begins with a breathing mark. Either this or this over the vowel. A smooth breathing mark like this has no effect on the pronunciation. So for example, N with a smooth breathing mark would just be N. However, if we had a rough breathing mark like so, then it would be pronounced hen. N, hen. Also, if a word begins with either rho or upsilon, they will have a rough breathing mark over them, which is why it's pronounced r and h, like rhetor and hubris. Now, we all know what you're thinking. What about syllables? A Greek word has as many syllables as it has vowels and diphthongs. Thinking back to our old friend apostolos, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 vowels, therefore 4 syllables. Apostolos. If a syllable has a long vowel or a diphthong, then it is a long syllable. If it has a short vowel, then it's considered a short syllable, like all of these. Apostolos. The final 3 syllables of a Greek word have special names. The last syllable is called the ultima. The second to last is called the penult. And the third to last is called the antepenult. Only these 3 syllables are the ones that are allowed to have accent marks. Finally, punctuation. Greek has 4 punctuation marks. Much like in English, you have a minor pause that's signified by a comma. You have a full stop that's signified by a period. You have a major pause, which is like our colon or semicolon, but instead of that, we just have a dot above the line of writing, like so. The Greek question mark is actually what looks like a semicolon. That is a question mark in Greek. This is your first lesson in our crash course of Greek. More to come, Lord willing.